Hello, fourth graders, and welcome back. I am Mrs. Lamondo here to bring you our Fontes and Pinnell mini lesson of the day. So let's get started. Today we are at LA U23 lesson 4. Today we're going to think back to the last time we were together when we read a historical fiction book. So last lesson we heard the historical fiction story Tea with Milk. What can you say about the setting? How is the setting important to the story? Remember, when we're thinking about setting, especially with historical fiction, we're not just thinking about where it's taking place, we're also thinking about the time period in which the story is taking place and how that might influence the characters' actions. So, Tea with Milk takes place in the 1900s in San Francisco and Japan. It's important to understand the time and place of a historical fiction story to better understand what is happening. The author has to write about characters and events in a way that fits with the historical time and place. So here we have a map showing us where Japan is and also where San Francisco is. Two vastly different places with very, very different things happening in the 1900s. So important to keep in mind as we read historical fiction stories, not only the time, but the place in which it happens. All right, let's move into LA U23 Lesson 5. Today we're going to listen to the story, Dad, Jackie, and Me. As we listen, imagine you are at a baseball game in 1947. What kinds of things would you hear? Would people be saying the exact same things at a baseball game today?
Dad, Jackie, and Me. Written by Myra Ruberg. Illustrated by Coleman Smith. My ear was glued to the radio like every other ear in Brooklyn. It was opening day 1947 and every kid in Brooklyn knew this was our year. The Dodgers were going to go all the way. We had Jackie Robinson, the first Negro player in the Major League Baseball. As I listened to the game, the minutes melted into hours. The innings folded into another. I could see it all in my mind's eye. Pitch after pitch, swing after swing. I dreamed of the day I could see it for myself.
Our neighbor was the only short subway ride from Ebbets Field, home of the Dodgers and the new first baseman. I loved the Brooklyn Dodgers. I hated the New York Giants, and they hated Jackie Robertson.
One day my daddy came home from work early. He walked into my bedroom and announced, "We're going to Ebbets Field." He said he couldn't say it out loud because my father was dead, so he signed it with words in it with his hands. I couldn't believe it. Dad never seemed to care much about baseball. I want to meet Jackie Robinson. Dad said, "I'm finally going to see a real game today. Dodgers are playing against the Giants, and we're going to cream them." "Oh yeah, my friend. I'm going to go glove ball, Dodgers cap, and ice scorecard." I struck my lucky pencil behind my ear. As we went down the steps, I tossed the ball to Dad, but he never played baseball like me. He dropped it.
I couldn't wait to get to the ballpark. But the whole ride, I kept thinking, there's no way Dad can meet Jackie Robertson. Besides, Jackie doesn't even know sign language. How would they talk to each other?
The line to get in Ebbets Field snaked around the civilian place, up to Binford Avenue. My dad let me hold my ticket. I clutched it for dear life. Finally, we were through the tunnel side. My dad held my hand as we moved with the rest of the crowd through the gloomy underbelly of the stadium, up the dark ramp. Then we tumbled into the bright sunlight.
I shut my eyes against the glare. When I opened them again, I breathed and coughed down my throat. I've never heard anything perfect inside the Ebbets Field. There laid at my feet the emerald green field. Each blade of grass reflected in the light of the afternoon sun. The angels of the field were sharply marked into 2 lines, and the white chalk, the dirt bases, platform, perfect diamond carpet,
with the flat Havens bags at each and black rubber plates at home. I know I live to be 100 years old. I would never see this beautiful sight.
Peanuts, hay, hot dogs, get them while they hot. Dad and I sit on the right field line, right behind first base. Jackie's baseball street. The Dodgers Symphony was marching up and down the aisles playing The Worms Crawl Out and The Worms Crawl Out. The music was ear-splitting. Dad couldn't hear it, but he laughed along with everybody else in sight of the raggedy bands, tattered clothes, cowboys, and whistles. When the game started, when Jackie ran out on the field, Dad yelled really loud, "Jackie, Jackie, Jackie!" Only it didn't come out the way it sounded. "Aki, Aki, Aki." Since my dad couldn't hear, he had no way of knowing that the words should sound like. Everyone looked at my dad. I looked at my shoes.
As Jackie stood at first base, the Giants began hooting and hollering. They called Jackie names, horrible names. "What are they saying?" Dad asked. "Bad things," I said. "Tell me." Some of these words I had to fingerspell. I knew no sign for them. Dad listened with a sad little smile on his face. In ninth inning, Jackie bunted and beat the third of first. Then he stole second. On the next Dodgers hit, he moved to third. The score was tied 4-4. The Giants pitcher took a long windup, and Jackie dashed for home. We all jumped to our feet, yelling, "Jackie, Jackie, Jackie! Aggie, Aggie, Aggie!" Dad screamed. This time, nobody seemed to notice. The heck with the Giants. They were nothing. We had Jackie Robertson.
So far we've noticed about this day going to see Jackie Robinson play baseball. We have the father who's hearing impaired, and other people are looking as he cheers on his favorite baseball player. We have people from the stands heckling Jackie Robinson simply because he's Black and he's playing baseball in a time where there were not many Black players. We notice how both Dad and Jackie Robinson have to overcome adversity to continue living fulfilling lives.
Jackie.
So historical fiction writers often use language of the times in dialogue. Jackie, Me and Dad takes place in 1947. The dialogue had language like, "Hey, peanuts, hey, hot dogs, get them while they're hot." This shows the language of the time period because he says "em" instead of "them." The way he speaks is an old-fashioned way to talk. When you are reading a historical fiction book, think about the time and place the characters are living in. Look to dialogue that can help you better understand the time period as well. All right, fourth graders, that's all for today. Until next time, bye.